Our final game of the evening takes us to Chengdu as Rogue Warriors are about to take on OMG in their home arena, and SMLZ gets the chance to look for revenge once again against his former teammates. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dom. This is Clement. The reason we're talking so quick is because we're a few minutes behind schedule. We're trying to get into this next game as quick as we can. Pick and ban will be coming up in just a moment. Hey, there it is. For those of you who tuned in for our set just a moment ago with EDG versus WE, surprise, surprise, Scout got MVP, as I think we all expected. But now we're turning our attention towards OMG versus Rogue Warriors, because Rogue Warriors, with side selection, have chosen red and now given over a Talia to Team OMG. Who
Ain't nobody surprised about Scout getting MVP. He deserved that. But coming back into this matchup, it is SMLZ against his old former teammates, and we're seeing OMG pick up with the respect right away. I believe that's 13 straight games that Kled has now been banned from Rogue Warriors.
From
Nobody's going to give him that.
Surprise, surprise. Well, we do get a Shen. We'll see if that goes to Kilo or Mouse after the chance to see it in our game just a moment ago in the top lane from 957. Rogue Warriors are currently the fourth most winningest team in the LPL. Of their top four, IG, JD, RNG, with Rogue Warriors bringing up the rear at 11-3. But that still puts them head and shoulders above the rest of the league. This is one of the best teams in the world right now, and they are heavily favored to take this match against OMG.
Absolutely. Rogue Warriors actually have the highest win rate in terms of games. They have been the most dominant teams in terms of just pure performance. A lot of their series are just simple 2-0s in their own conference. Of course, we did just saw them lose to Invictus Gaming, which has been a big problem for them earlier on as well. And in terms of this draft, going back here, we do see that Rogue Warriors is picking up a lot of global compositions, trying to equalize the advantage coming out from the first pick, Talia. And an interesting decision here from Rogue Warriors, actually giving Mouse the Rise hard carry, a potential flex pick for him.
Yeah, we've seen this before, but it's actually going to be the Camille locked in. So we'll see how this shakes out, because it is Rogue Warriors. You never know where things are going to end up, because Doinby is so wacky in what he can play in that mid lane, though we do expect that Camille to be likely going to either Flawless or Mouse, so saving a bit of that flex.
I actually do like the Rise in terms of the top lane. It is a pick that, if left untouched, can win the Gragas matchup incredibly hard. But, you know, these days it's also very hard to tell where the Gragas is actually going. We've seen support, top lane, and jungle all be Gragas picks, and you could potentially put Talia in mid and then Zoe in bot, so they're going to hold on to that thought, take a little while longer, and pick themselves a good jungler into the Talia, something that rushes the face, which is Camille.
Could be a very good choice for Flawless if he decides to take that, as his signature Nocturne has been banned away. Kindred could still be an option, as there's still so much flexibility, and both teams respecting the top lane pool, the Gnar and the Mundo.
You have to take away the Mundo from Mouse at this point. You're running a triple AP composition, and Mundo specializes against
he loves
mages.
That. Oh yeah.
We all remember the 1v4 play that Mouse did in the top side.
Oh my gosh, against Vici.
Yeah.
Yiguan's first game in the LPL. Poor guy.
Welcome to the LPL, man.
That was a heck of an entrance. That's not a housewarming, that's a house cooling party.
Rogue Warriors very interestingly banning away the Jax as well. This is not a champion that Xiang typically plays, but what they're telling the enemy team is that this Camille could actually potentially be a top laner. That's the message they want to get across, and hopefully they can fish out some bans on the jungle position for OMG.
I mean, where we've seen Xiang succeed is when he does get the chance to play carries in the top lane. Though flexible though he is, we know him to be a very innovative top laner, coming up with Smite Hecarim, Smite Fizz way back in the day in 2015. Nowadays, a little bit less innovative, even though the meta has kind of gone all over the place. But he knows he's up against Mouse right now, who has been absolutely stepping up for Rogue Warriors, and gets his hands on Ornn in the top lane. So this suddenly shakes out the entire composition and saves that 80 carry pick for last for SMLZ.
This is really Flex City. It's so hard to anticipate Rogue Warriors picks right now. SMLZ can actually play the Rise as well. So if people don't know, SMLZ has the most champion played of any player in the LPL. He's currently sitting at 17. And that's a big reason why Rogue Warriors drafts are so damaging. Like, you really don't know who's going where until the absolute last pick, and a lot of the times the creativity is coming from the bot lane.
Yeah. Rogue Warriors are the ones who are innovating on that bottom half of the map, but Now we're looking to see how OMG decide to break that apart. Chase is the hover for Xiang.
Not a champion that he's played a lot of. OMG could still do a poke composition with something a little bit more stable. I like the Cho'Gath here. Xiang is mainly a tank player. They have all the poke components ready. But a great answer coming up from Rogue Warriors as well.
Yeah, that Jhin is a huge champion for SMLZ. Oh boy, he does play it with the Hail of Blades, and it is so massive. Those 4th bullets. Heck, even the first bullet with Stormrazor Hail of Blades just hurts. It hurts so much.
Can I call it right now?
Huh.
I feel like this is a straight up composition victory for Rogue Warriors. How is OMG going to try and siege against Rogue Warriors? You're sieging against an Ornn, a Jhin, and a Camille Shen engage.
Oh yeah.
That
I was about to say, Talia gets on the side and puts up a wall to separate them from the turret. And then they don't care about the wall because, like you said, they've got Realm Warp, they've got the Talia, or sorry, the Camille to get over the wall with Hookshot. They've got Ornn to break down the wall.
I actually think that OMG is going to have to change their playstyle from what they drafted. Their draft is a very strong poke type of composition. They have the Zoe Ezreal, but I don't really see them being able to do poke against this composition. Can you just imagine a Realm Warp Camille straight into the back and then a Shen pops on top of him? Like, how you can't play against that if you're poke. So it really shifts OMG's playstyle to getting early leads and playing a skirmish style. Instead of stacking up as a 5-man, they're probably going to have to look for jungle fights, get Icon very far ahead.
Skirmishes, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen that strategy from OMG before. Relying on Icon to hard carry through mid lane?
They can definitely do it.
He can. I mean, he used to be known as the Hitman, but he's going up against Doinby, who has been absolutely on fire pretty much forever. Spectacular mid laner across from him. We'll see if he's able to reclaim his title.
We do see a fan with a sign right there says, SMLZ, have you checked your inbox today? Probably some hot messages going his way.
Fresh off the press as Rogue Warriors are going to make their way onto the Rift. We prepare to get in there ourselves. As OMG, they're chasing down that playoff spot 5 and 10. If they take 2 victories, they eliminate WE from the standings. But they've only got 4 games left to play. And they need at least 2 or 3 wins if they want to lock down that 4th place spot.
Currently for OMG, it's already outside of their hands. FPX is 1.5 games ahead. Snake is 2.5 games ahead. They have to win everything, and they still need some luck.
Yeah. It's going to be an uphill battle, but from the fans in Chengdu, as we get into a pause, that sepia tone, the observer hasn't died. That is just a pause as we load onto the Rift.
Looks like the memoir of Chengdu.
Yes. The never forgetty.
But going back
to check it out.
To Rogue Warriors, they have been, I would say, the top performing team recently. If you look at Invictus Gaming, you know, there's some question marks there. Their games against EDG were very rough. We don't talk about RNG now anymore. And EDG, they just came out of their massive slump. So out of the Rift Rivals team, I actually think Rogue Warriors has been the most stable one.
A lot of that has been off the back of how Rogue Warriors play as a collective team. They rally behind the inner fire of Doinby. He has been the heartbeat of the team, the heart and soul for so long. And again, the reason his hair is dyed yellow is to emulate that 2015 summer hair color that in his first split in the LPL, he took 2nd place with the Chaogu Reapers. Now he's trying to go back to that same standing with the Rogue Warriors.
You know, that's always hilarious to hear about the player. You could call it superstition.
Yeah.
But that's how
he's going Super Saiyan right now.
That's where science evolves from, basically. So, you know, it could be the drink you had that day. It could be your underwear color, which is a pretty common thing in Chinese
it's also
athletes.
playing in the optimal conditions, right? Like, if you practice at home with your shoes off, then you go on stage and play better with your shoes, or sorry, play worse with your shoes on. Take your shoes off. Get more comfortable. We see it all the time for players, so maybe it is superstition. Maybe there is relevance. I see you look at our feet right now. We both have our shoes off as we're a little bit more comfortable on the casting desk.
That's how casters get most of their material. They just like talk about whatever they're doing right now.
Exactly. But still, we do want to talk a little bit more about this matchup because Rogue Warriors, like we said, they are the best performing team in the LPL right now, with RNG suffering with the return of Uzi, with EDG coming out of there. Exactly.
I thought yesterday was like, this is a quick 2-0, you know, the strongest team in the LPL versus Vici. And we actually had the longest game of the split so far.
Yeah, that was
a nail biter.
Absolutely. The coolest thing, I think, though, was in that game 3, when it finally ended in that super, super long match, the camera showed Xiaohu in the mid lane after the victory, after the Nexus went down, reach over, take a drink from his coffee, and take a drink from his coffee cup and set it down. Hands cold as ice, not shaking, smooth and steady as a rock, didn't blink, didn't flinch, didn't look like he was sweating. And then the camera cut over across to the other side, and you could see Swift was kind of shaking a little bit after that matchup. Swift!
So close.
So close. But RNG, again, this is a team, you can't shake them. You cannot break them down.
Did you hear the interview from Xiaohu last night?
I did not, no. I would love to hear it.
His only comment was, I should have brought Gathering Storm.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you don't expect to have to take Gathering Storm against Vici Gaming. Of all teams. Like you said, we were expecting a quick 2-0, but didn't get to see it.
Vici Gaming played with some fire. They're actually winning the bot lane, actually.
Yeah, against Uzi. Uzi he was disrespectful. He was being very disrespectful.
Yeah, it's been really a bit of a rough ride with Uzi back. Like, everyone was anticipating this. We thought he was going to come back, be the king, lead the team straight from Asia Cups to playoffs and then to Worlds. It was going to be like a highlight reel for him. He comes back and then locks in Vayne, loses a lane super hard, and kind of laughs the first set off.
And then tries to 1v5 split push into Kog'Maw.
Yeah. We've actually seen some rust from Uzi, which is not something that we've seen before. Like, his loss against Vici was because he used the Quicksilver Sash too early.
Yep.
Yeah, he did not cleanse the Varus ultimate and just died on the spot. It was like, oh, game over.
And then, yeah, his team loses. That's the scary thing. And even in the pick and ban for RNG, we can have a conversation about that all the time. Again, to get back to this set, the reason we are on the pause right now, we do have a peripheral issue for Mouse. We're going to get that resolved as quick as we can and hopefully get us into this game because OMG, they are looking for a win. They are hungry for their playoff spot. They're finally starting to find just a little bit of momentum off of their victory against WE in their most recent game.
People have to remember, OMG is a household name. They're one of the strongest historical teams in China, and they've only missed playoffs one split so far. They did make it in summer 2017, didn't have a great showing there, and after that SMLZ did depart from the team, but they're no strangers to that scenario, and they want to play up for their fans in Chengdu.
As you said, this is an organization that has been around since the inception of the LPL. There was even a period of time where OMG were the best team in the LPL.
Oh, man.
Way back in the day.
That's one of the, you know, since we're talking about Uzi and OMG, that's always one of the big historical questions that we have, because OMG, they were the best team in S3. People thought they could have won the title for the LPL, changed the entire narrative, and then one person shows up and alters the entire course of history.
The China versus China final, or sorry, semis.
And that man was Uzi.
Knocking them out.
You know, that's
sniping the spot.
Me and Frost had that same ambivalent feeling about Uzi. Like, we were not actually Uzi fans to start in the LPL because we kind of felt like...
Because of the 2013.
And the 2014 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, he's been to finals a lot.
Yep. And that's the big hurdle for OMG. People thought they were the best team both of those years. But they couldn't get over RNG. They couldn't get over the domestic battles. And Uzi went on to the finals and didn't really put up a good showing there. So even though, like, people acknowledge that he was probably the best player China has ever produced, we never thought RNG was the best team China produced.
Until this year, where we finally see RNG taking wins. How did we get back to talking about RNG? We were just talking about OMG.
Because they're our best hope!
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on in the LPL right now. A lot of chicanery and shenaniganery. As Icon, ooh, look at that. He's not happy. He is not a happy man. He is getting iced on stage.
I wouldn't be happy with this draft either. It's so hard to play.
It really is going to be quite tough. He does have himself that Zoe, which could be a bit safer if he decides to play back, and still has massive assassination potential if he's able to snowball.
I love seeing me some Icon Zoe. Icon is just one of the best players on Assassins. If you give him something that he can outplay, then he's just a god. My favorite play was when he played against Vici Gaming.
Was it the LeBlanc 1v5?
That was actually a 1v4, but he took two people down with it.
Yeah,
that was amazing. He had another Zoe game where it was against Vici Gaming. He dodged, it was against Snake. He dodged 4 skill shots in a row, and then comes back and kills Cool.
Like pops over the wall and just hits the more sparkles. Boop.
Yeah, he actually just walks around, dodge everything from SOFM, portal jumps to dodge what was being thrown out by Guoguo, and then comes back and kills him.
And think about his opponent in this game, Doinby. SMLZ is the kind of player who actively uses emotes and taunts. He doesn't just play the matchup. He doesn't just play the champion. He doesn't just play the game. He plays the player.
Yeah.
But now he's playing against Doinby, who is so emotional. And not in the I'll tilt if we lose kind of way, because we haven't really had a chance to see that. He's the guy who, when you put more pressure onto Doinby, he steps up and plays up. Whereas Icon, that's always been what Icon has struggled with. When he is faced with pressure, he tilts and falls down.
I'm not sure if he tilts, but overall, I don't think OMG has been the best.
You don't think Icon tilts? Look at that face!
So, you know, tilt is a state of mind. It's very hard to tell a state of mind just
emotional
from reading the players' faces. But I will say that in this matchup, it's actually pretty difficult for Zoe. Typically, I know North America likes to say that Zoe is completely uncountered and an absolutely nuance to deal with, but here in the LPL, we actually do run quite a few counters to Zoe. Zoe is not as prevalent in terms of first pick. In fact, if you look at our Zoe first pick win rate, it's actually pretty bad. So, you know, each region has very different gauge on the champions, and one of those counters is the Rise. If you don't snowball early against the Rise, he actually has the HP gain, he builds Rod of Ages, and it gets to a point where you can't really one-shot him. And if he's able to run at you, then that matchup actually swings over to the Rise's side.
And I'm so curious to see what Doinby builds, because he was the guy who takes, what was it, Righteous Glory Rod of Ages on Rise? Way back in the day. He hasn't done it in a while. He's been largely sticking to more standardized builds, but we know that he's a pretty innovative player, and we have seen that build style before. Heck, he took Iceborne Gauntlet on Victor.
So I have to say that was a different version of Rise.
Yes.
It was still the same version, still the same rework, but since then he's been changed his like AP ratios, lowered his base damage and stuff like that. And hopefully the tank build won't work as well.
A little less viable,
yeah, the tank build was absolutely disgusting. Like, he actually didn't build any AP for a very long time.
Still one-shot people.
It was
the mana to AP conversion was so high.
Yeah, it was silly. It was Righteous Glory, and he had Frozen Gauntlet as well. And he just ran at people. 0 AP build.
Spell slinging, getting massive slows, and just running people down. I feel like Icon is one of the easiest players to read in the LPL.
He plays Assassins.
Because he has such a distinct style of how he plays, how he moves, how he acts. So I think if ever there's a player that we can read who is tilted, Icon is the guy who would demonstrate that the most.
I think Icon is one of those players. If you give him good vision around mid lane, and that's really all he needs, he can outplay a lot of 1v2s. He kind of feels like what Bjergsen was when he first came on the scene. I was actually on NIP at that point.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing we'd see in scrims is that people would try to gank like 2v1 Bjergsen, and
he would
Bjergsen
just
could outplay it.
Yeah.
He would always trade one for one. And Icon is that type of player. Like, his footsies are just good enough to the point where he can dodge out on most skill shots. And you know, like, Icon's a weird player. He's the franchise player of OMG. He's their best player by far. But at the same time, they've never really transferred Icon's strengths into wins on that team. They've always lacked a high caliber jungler that could scrap with him and play the 2v2 and just win the entire match, and they're still looking for that.
Yeah, especially in 2018. In 2017, their secondary win condition was SMLZ.
Yeah.
As the AD carry, who would play hyper carries, who would play really aggressive styles, diving in. But now his support is no longer there. 5 now has to play against his former bottom lane teammate.
It's
SMLZ.
such a weird scenario for Icon, and I really do feel like he deserves better, because currently he's a marquee player, but he's not a foundation player. You can't, like, OMG has failed to build upon Icon and make this squad into something successful, and we were hoping that Mountain would try and kind of alleviate the situation this split, and he's nowhere to be seen right now.
It's been Ash Ketchum for OMG. Gotta catch them all. All of the junglers. Three separate junglers. Jeko, World 6, Mountain.
When will the drought end? That's the big question. And I have to say, to be fair, some of it is on Icon himself. He's not really been known for adapting. He stays true to his style. He's very good at his style, but he has problems branching out.
Yep.
So, no, we used to call him the beautiful distraction when SMLZ was still on the team. They were really winning through their team fight and protecting SMLZ, but Icon would keep the enemy team so focused on himself throughout the early game that SMLZ was able to find the farm and CS he needed
throughout
on
the early
top
game, throughout the mid game, throughout the late game, especially by solo killing his opponent's laners so often, which earned him the secondary title, the Hitman, I suppose. But now this is a different look for OMG. They've largely, again, been centered around Ipon, as you said, a marquee player, but not a foundation player. And Xuan P stepped in and looked like he could be able to fill that role when he was on Ashe. Since then, he's actually stepped back, and we've seen Chelly come back into the roster. So we're still seeing OMG experiment with their 5-man.
OMG, they're always been looking for a jungler and an AD carry after SMLZ left. There really are two positions away from being one of those contender teams for playoffs. That's my view on them. Chelly does have some good performances from then and here and then, but I think his main problem is that in team fights, he typically is the first one to die, which is a really weird thing. OMG, they play this scrappy style. They don't really look towards their AD carry, and I think something that SMLZ actually did fairly well when he was on OMG was that he was willing to play forward. He was willing to go and join the fray. But Chelly is someone that kind of pulls back. He needs more protection, but what he's not realizing is that pulling back actually gets you killed more times than not on OMG, because everyone's going forward.
Yeah, that disconnect might be something that we see in this series as we load onto the Rift for Game 1 between OMG and Rogue Warriors.
I think Rogue Warriors won that round.
The volume?
Oh, a lot more throat scratching on their side.
I think the volume was pumped up at the very end, which might have artificially boosted Rogue Warriors. But again, this is an organization new to the LPL in 2018, joining the franchised leagues, and absolutely stunning and surprising with this roster of Team Rejects, Doinby, previously of Chaogu, Newbie, and JD. SMLZ, previously of OMG. Mouse, previously of EDG.
So to start the game off, we do see Hell of Blades taken by SMLZ. It is the new standard for Jin, and he's received the 4% win rate boost straight after the changes. The extra attack speed you get from Hell of Blades then transfers to AD on Jin. You don't get to double dip, but it's a massive amount of damage, and it starts off your first shot, so you get it for your fourth shot as well.
Makes it real tough. Flawless is invading. He's
Good
found Jeko. That's going to be it. The Tectonic Disruption is used. Flawless doesn't have tactical sweep, but instead just autos and smites, stealing away the red buff. He's still sitting here. Might be looking for Jeko to follow up as he's forced to use that refillable and heal up.
That was a great mind game from Flawless. He actually did not have the E, so he was actually down in ability. Doesn't matter, steps us with the red buff and forces Jeko to go away.
Already opening up an advantage on this bottom side of the map by slowing that Talia down, while SMLZ is starting to get some hits against 5 and Chelly. Constant barrels coming out to try and clear this shoving wave from the bottom lane of Rogue Warriors.
Good sustain options coming out for him as well. Feels like this isn't a kill lane, so it does take the teleport. After the teleport nurse, we do see a lot of people taking the heal if they think things are going to get pretty dicey in the bot lane. But against the Nezreal, I think Teleport's great. You can just farm up as fast as possible, get to that Storm Razors.
We can see how Chelly and Five are trying to control the lane, or at least slow SMLZ down with constant barrels at max range under SMLZ, who's usually hovering around those caster creeps. So it is equalizing the damage a bit. Oh, not again. Flawless!
It's one level up.
He has no spite right now, and Flawless looking for some damage as Giaco gets the level up, and Flawless is forced to leap away as Xiyoung, with push advantage, was able to roam just a little bit faster.
Doinby did arrive sooner, but...
Oh, what is that?
That's unfair. It lasts 4 seconds, by the way.
That's so long. Even as the animation starts to fade away, I think Doinby just learned something about the duration of that ability. Even though it starts to fade away, it's not gone until it's gone.
Yeah, I will say one thing that I think you can criticize about Doinby is that he's not a Zoe player.
Yeah.
So he was kind of surprised. Wait a minute, it lasts that long?
A real long time. That does slow him down getting back in the lane, but he's not missing any CS right now and will be close to even 1 CS down after he gets these 2. But already things looking pretty comfortable for Rogue Warriors, though we are seeing a gold deficit for them. I'm trying to see where that's coming from.
Should be from the bot side, Kleptomancy, Ezreal.
Oh, yeah.
If you get lucky, then there's nothing much you can do.
200 some odd gold for Chelly, give or take.
Yeah, could have popped some bags of gold already. I just think that's so unfair what we saw in the mid lane trade, because,
Shadow Dash.
It's both CC.
And the Flourish. SMLZ eats even more. That's the Ignite being used. There, as you said, there is no heal. SMLZ forced to walk all the way back. He survives without using any summoners.
Good play coming in there for Five. They had the wave pushing in, and Chelly was already out of danger's harm's way. So no way for Jhin to actually trade anymore.
Jekko is there.
Uh-oh, we've seen this before.
The Rupture will chuck him forward. SMLZ completes the teleport kill with flashes.
One shot up.
Chelly gets first blood along with Five.
Does pop the Rogue Potion for the extra AD in that trade as well. What a good read from Jekko. Jekko knew the way that SMLZ would play. SMLZ always teleports straight onto a minion. He wants to deny that CS from the opponent team, so they were able to play around that greed coming in from SMLZ, and this is not the first time that we've seen this happen. SMLZ does like to teleport straight on top of your face.
And look at the payoff as well. Doesn't kill SMLZ, it kills Killua, his support, as he tries to take the Shadow Dash and absorb the hit so that SMLZ can complete it. But already that's going to open up the bottom lane with that first blood. Now 1,100 gold for OMG. Flawless is still trying to patrol around the jungle. He could be looking for Five, could be looking for Jekko.
Yep, he still has a very strong dueling potential against Jekko. So if Jekko was the one that was clearing this ward out, I guarantee you Flawless would be out there trying to challenge him on that.
But instead, it is Five as, Sleepy Trouble Bubble will hit, and the Paddle Star. Five does hit Tactical Sweep. Doinby doesn't follow up with the Rune Prison as he did use it on the initial hit to Icon.
Don't you just love it when Zoe picks up a random ghost?
And is able to use it to walk away from a gank? Absolutely.
Yeah, I believe that was the ghost sound popping in.
I did hear the sound, so yeah. So very strong. Spell Thief is just so good. Especially with the Redemption as well, because it does the flat damage. Oh, SMLZ, he's slowed again. Still holding on to the flash. Killua again takes a hit. Shadow Dash away. There's a late flash. Rogue Warriors bottom lane are playing disrespectful, and they're getting punished.
Yeah, very hard, in fact. The sustained potential does favor OMG quite heavily in terms of the bot lane. You do see the Biscuit being picked up, something that's much more common these days.
There's the Redemption we were just talking about. SMLZ and Killua trying to recall, but are forced to back away. That means Chelly gets pushed on this turret. He's level 6. He's got True Shot Barrage firing across. Oh, SMLZ is still alive. In the fountain, Killua also takes a hit. And look at that.
Redemption. That's so lucky on OMG's side. So no other item pickup right there could delay Rogue Warriors back, let Chelly hit 6, and then delay the back again. That forced them to step away from a wave and a half of minions.
So
just because of RNG on Zoe.
And look at the damage on that turret.
Oh, wow, it's such an unfortunate chain of events for Rogue Warriors. And, like, how you can't play against that.
Yeah, the counterplay is banning, I believe. But finally, SMLZ gets back into lane. He's got himself Swifties, Mouse, and Xiang.
Yeah.
We haven't really gotten a chance to check out what's going on in that matchup because it's a whole lot of wet noodles just smacking against each other.
You definitely don't see Swifties as the common first item pickup, but he needs to dodge so many skill shots at this point.
Oh, he's got no flash! And this is an aggressive camp. This is just mean. I love how OMG are targeting down SMLZ, their former teammate. And though his face is usually placid and expressionless, SMLZ is a bit of a tilter.
And this is how you check up on your exes.
The classic, oh, you've been good? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I feel really happy for you.
Yeah. It's
I
just
hope you're doing well.
Three-man collapse from three directions. Ooh. The flash body slam. It's disrespectful.
I have to say, Rogue Warriors is getting complacent. Their bot lane should have definitely checked. They thought Gragas didn't have 6. There's no way he's hiding. Oh, wait a minute.
And that's first break. All that gold going over to Chelly. 1-0-1, 13 CS ahead. We were concerned that this matchup would be heavily slanted in SMLZ's favor, considering the caliber of AD carry that he is compared to Chelly. But camping bottom doesn't matter about caliber at this point when you set up the Ezreal so well.
You know, SMLZ has really been the creative type this split so far.
Ooh, Doinby steps up. That's the Rune Prison. Looking for some more. Flashes away the cask, pins him to the turret. Another Sleepy Trouble Bubble cleanses immediately. True Shot Barrage misses with the footsies teleport. Mouse follows up. Call of the Forge God. Target is 5. He has no flash. Killua gets in with the Shadow Dash. Another Rune Prison onto Icon as Doinby steps up and finds the first kill for Rogue Warriors.
Great footwork there by Doinby. Dodges out on the skill shots that could have killed him much earlier, and the entire team comes in to salvage the situation. Mouse did have to use his teleport, but they do get 5 in the exchange. That actually puts a lot of pressure off. Remember, I think the key member for OMG to get fed on is that Zoe. If you want to play skirmishes, you don't want to play the sieging type of composition, you do need a good Zoe stat line. And our Rogue Warriors were able to deny that kill away from Icon.
That will keep that Zoe locked down. Now the only thing they have to worry about is the Ezreal and the Talia, who is also 1-0-1. So still not peachy keen for Rogue Warriors just yet. They're down about 1,700, maybe 1,800 gold, but that will start to even out just a little bit once Doinby starts to get some items and scale up as, oh, good guy Doinby. Well, I mean, Killua got 1. Not so sure if that was a good guy move as he finally clears it at the end. Another Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands. Icon is looking for some hits. Just trading vision around this mid lane to keep Doinby safe while SMLZ is sitting so far back.
That was a good guy move. If you don't let Rusty hit those minions and use his procs, he actually berates you.
Yeah.
And he should.
It's wasting the cooldown of the item and reducing the overall amount of gold that the team can get in the end. But it's just, the wave is so low, and the cooldown is ready, and it's right there. It's like shooting the cannon after your support pings it. Pretty much. Just poor etiquette. As once again, the Rune Prison steps up. Oh no! He was looking for Doinby, but he hits Flawless, who's trying to counter gank. On the far side, Killua even collapsing. Stopwatch to deny the cask, and OMG will back away because they do have Chelly there as well. They've got a lot of damage in the 4-stack. SMLZ still relegated to hovering bottom.
This is great pressure being put out by OMG. If you look at SMLZ's position, he can't really walk up and take the wave. The Talia wall could come right in, and he's forced to farm relatively close to his tower, which puts so much pressure onto Doinby.
Doinby's able to absorb it for now, as he is keeping even his CS with Icon and denying these ganks as best he can. Flawless is still maneuvering around as quick as he can. Looking for this blue buff, he will steal it away. We can see some defensive vision set up by Rogue Warriors on the opposite side to keep their own. Even Mouse is getting in on this. That's teamwork.
Yep. Typically in the lane, Ornn does win out on most of the trades. It's only until the very late game when a lot of items have been built that you see it going back into the favor of Cho'Gath. He is having himself quite a field day up there. No, I've always felt like Mouse has been an underrated laning player. He can actually play things like the Rise. We've seen him do very well in Vladimir as well. So, you know, that point about him, about the Champion of the Light, has always been a little bit overblown. I actually think he's quite decent in the lane.
It's absolutely started to come together with Rogue Warriors, I think. This is where we get the chance to see his laning phase really shine, whereas EDG in the past, his previous team, when he's played top lane for them, he's largely been relegated to tank roles.
Yep, teleport to bot lane, not your own lane.
Exactly, yeah. Can't keep your own lane safe. You have to sit there and absorb pressure as everything gets invested into iBoy and Zet before him.
At Icon. He's sitting on double cleanses, so he's gonna play this as aggressive as possible.
What are you gonna do? You can't lock that down. And another ghost gets dropped. There he goes, picks it up, trading up for Icon. But still, Mouse, he's been doing a lot of work for his team lately. He will lane swap down to the bottom lane as SMLZ and Killua head top to try to match Chelly and 5. This Ezreal has been completely unlocked early on at 1-0 and 1. SMLZ's caught up in CS. He's at 120, only 5 down, just missing that kill gold and missing the 800 gold completion for his Stormrazor, as we are still on 814 here in the LPL.
I feel like OMG actually swapped their lanes a bit too slow. So they had the tower down before 10 minutes, but it took them an extra 4 to really start thinking about the top lane tower. They tried a lot of ganks onto Doinby, was able to avoid everything.
Mouse, that's just mean. Ooh, taking some damage there. Doesn't even get the brittle proc onto Xiang. A little disrespectful. Does end up hurting him. Uh-oh. That's onto the Camille. The flash for maximum range doesn't get it. Realm Warp, but no, you can't be carried. He was just outside of the edge of the Realm Warp. The chase over the side of the wall. Jericho gets the kill.
That's so unfortunate for Flawless. He wanted to hookshot onto the Raptor wall, but instead accidentally hits the Talia wall.
Yeah.
Falls flat on his face.
That's called the Forge God. Mouse is getting in there. 5 with the body slam sidesteps, and Mouse still taking some damage from Jericho. They don't have any major item completions outside of the Abyssal Mask, but they're still trying to skirmish here. Rogue Warriors don't want to give it up. Did that go to 5? That did. That went to 5 and Jericho. Oh boy, this is getting a little bit sloppy from Rogue Warriors.
Good control for OMG, and they should look to take the Herald at this point. There's no Call of the Forge God for Ornn. There's not going to be a big 5v5 that's going to happen right here.
They did get the stopwatch and flash out of the Camille, who would be the smite to try and deny that. Hookshot can still get the Camille over the wall, but like you said, it's a lot riskier now. As Rogue Warriors, they're finding themselves having to defend. We were just commending you for being the most consistent of the top teams. And now they show disrespect in the bottom lane, and it ends up being an easy snowball for OMG to quickly rotate top and then take the Rift Herald off the back of that first turret. But it's still not that bad. It's still only 1,400 gold.
You know what?
They do have that Rift Herald.
Dom, we still have one team we can put our faith in.
If you say LGD.
No,
okay,
I'm off that hype train.
Okay.
In JD Gaming, we trust.
Oh no!
Jing Dong is our Lord and
you put
Savior.
your faith in JD right now?
Hey, they could be the second team coming out of the East.
They very well could be, yeah.
Real good chance of that happening.
Have they figured out how to play around Baron yet?
Yes. Actually, yes.
Actually, no. Oh, flawless. Ooh, he makes it over the wall. The cask and the flash. Chelly gets the kill. 4-1. You can even hear the crowd gasping off the back of that.
You know, Flawless shouldn't be able to get away, but that was a really good mechanical play. OMG just had more numbers. Cut off every single escape route from him. Now they're going to drop the Herald.
And now Rift Herald mid. Yeah, this is OMG just finding opening after opening. Rogue Warriors is swinging wildly. That's Call of the Forge God. Killa was there. Knock up, finds Jericho. They get the kill. Doinby finds his second of the game. Mouse on the side, keeping Xiang busy.
You remember
the turret has already gone down?
How we talked about it was going to be very difficult for OMG to siege mid. This is actually the best chance for Rogue Warriors to get a comeback. But since their early game has gone so poorly, Rogue Warriors they don't have the opportunity anymore to collapse on the mid siege. Like, this is going to transition into OMG taking control of the jungle and using Zoe very effectively.
You talked about it earlier for OMG. You think that Rogue Warriors had a very strong draft. Yeah. OMG would have to play a different style. Well, how about simply capitalizing on Rogue Warriors' mistakes?
True. Rogue Warriors died multiple times in the bot lane, but you also can't predict that that's going to happen. The 2v2 kills are going to happen.
I mean...
And you also can't predict that a redemption is going to stop someone from backing for 16 seconds.
It does help that Jericho effectively camped bottom by heading down there twice to find both of those 2 early kills. As Doinby, again, he's found Xiong. That's even the Stand United. I'm not sure if we should call this the submarine or the battleship, as they just appear. Realm Warp gets knocked out of, but they're still chasing onto Xiong. They found Giaco instead. True Shot Barrage, and Mouse finds the kill.
Giaco was innocent. He was just a bystander. He gets taunt by the Shen.
Doinby still sidestepping this. They're still there.
Icon
Icon
goes in.
picks up the flash. He's got a second one. As Paddlestar, does hit Doinby, but doesn't do a lot of damage just yet without the Luden's proc. Sleepy Trouble Bubble for the zone.
One more shot.
Shields himself, but Chelly chases it down. Get more disrespect from Rogue Warriors, and they again pay the price. They're trying to take a turn on the other side of the map and finally succeed breaking it down, but they find another kill onto Killua.
I'd still say overall a successful trade for Rogue Warriors if they don't lose this tower. They did take a tower on the top lane, got it into SMLZ's hand and traded 1-for-1 on the bottom side. Actually 1-for-2, excuse me.
Yeah.
But with that, of course,
Tier
OMG
2 goes down. Uh-oh.
It's been a really messy fight so far.
It really has. OMG, they're doing a great job on finding these reverse plays onto Rogue Warriors. It's not just OMG who are the ones finding and initiating it, but it's Rogue Warriors looking for it and getting denied by OMG as they turn it around.
Yeah, this fight was a little bit unfortunate for Giaco. He not only got taunted by Killua without Killua even having vision of him, he also pulled Doinby onto his own face. So a bit of unfortunate execution, but Icon is in here to clean up the situation. Zoe is just so good in skirmishes when you have flash on flash on flash to pick up. And even without landing the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, OMG are able to get 2 kills off that scenario.
And now at the 20-minute mark, Baron is spawning. Despite all of that, it's only still 2,400 gold, so not a massive advantage for OMG, as they are starting to control the map.
Realizing that SMLZ died during the replay.
Indeed he did.
Bit of unfortunate
somehow,
play
I'm
there.
sure we'll get a chance to see that. As now Baron is up and 5 is starting to try and deny vision around that side of the map. The top tier 1 is still standing. It's the last outer for OMG to take, but it won't be for long with the size of this minion wave and Chelly there. Here we go, SMLZ. Ooh, yeah, that's...
Max range Q. Good prediction from Icon. Oh, the geometry.
Around the minion wave. Now we do see an attempted engage from Rogue Warriors. Doinby is trying to walk in. Teleport started and canceled by Xiong, so teleport advantage to Rogue Warriors.
We did see the double combination from Rogue Warriors coming out. Mouse's ultimate use as well as MSMLZ, but they're still not able to slow anyone down. Now that's the big anti-siege combination that we're talking about. You could even do the Realm Warp into Camille, into Shen as well. So it's a very dangerous situation for OMG, but somehow they're able to escape.
They're allowed to walk away with their lives this time. Because right now, Rogue Warriors, they're trying. Goodness help them, they're trying time and again, but OMG are just playing around it. Now they're denying vision. They're going to set up and do the exact same thing.
I believe what happened was 5 was able to stop some of the engages with the cask.
Yep.
If you time it correctly, you could probably stop Ornn from hitting the return on the Ornn Horn.
We've seen that before, and it looks like we might see this play again. That's another Rupture. Killua looking for the Shadow Dash, hits it. They're going onto Xiong. Doinby eats the Feral Scream, unable to spell Sling, and they're chasing it down 2 turrets deep. Killua and Flawless finally find it, but Killua takes so much damage. 5 with the cask, pins Killua to the wall, and he dies in a 1-for-1. But that does mean the top tier 1 is traded as Flawless tries to escape. This is so reckless from Rogue Warriors. This is not the style of play we've come to expect from them.
Hey man, I told you Reckless was back, and that was absolutely insane. I'm surprised that Rogue Warriors weren't punished harder for that. They went 2 towers deep with 3 people, and OMG was right in the blue. And they managed to trade 1-for-1.
I don't...
Like, I'm not saying it's a great play, but it's still pretty exciting to watch them be able to pull a trade like that off.
Somehow OMG are finding advantages by turning this around.
It's not a great play, but it's still a play. That's what I'm getting at.
Technically, yes. But, look, plain and simple. If Rogue Warriors continue to play like this play...
They don't need to.
Can they win the game? If they keep giving these opportunities over to OMG?
I don't think either side necessarily has a better late game, so to speak.
Okay.
So, you know, like, dragging out the game you know, doesn't necessarily do anything, but it does break OMG's tempo. I feel like it breaks OMG's tempo. Because like OMG is the one that's aggressive, they're trying to set things up, you know, they're trying to set up plays inside Rogue Warriors jungle, and what Rogue Warriors are doing is saying like, we're going to do these absolutely insane, crazy play that no other team would do, and we're going to draw you away from our side of the map. Like, look at OMG, like they haven't gone past River because of that.
They're constantly moving around, trying to maintain vision, but how do you maintain vision when no amount of wards will help you see a dive coming 2 turrets deep onto a Cho'Gath? There's no why. All right, now they're looking for SMLZ. They found him outside of that minion wave as OMG get the chance to set up a play. Mouse with teleport is hovering bottom. Xiang nearly has his back up as well, but it is wild and crazy. That's the Realm Warp. Ooh. I don't think he wanted to take that one.
Yeah, he was trying to walk out of the Realm Warp before he fell asleep and had to go in.
Yeah.
That was... Oh, wait a minute. It actually would stop the Realm Warp. No, never mind. Yeah, if he fell asleep, it would start it.
If he were still drowsy when the Realm Warp went off, he would arrive and immediately go to sleep. Which would not be great.
Oh, I would want to see that. But of course...
interaction, yeah.
Of course, he did have to try and get away from that.
Ooh. Oh, boy. Okay, now OMG, they're still looking for picks. They're still looking for openings and opportunities. Now up to 3,500 gold ahead of Rogue Warriors. Almost all of that is on the Ezreal, who's at 3 items. They've got themselves a Zoe at 2, another Talia at 2 items. They're ready. They're looking for opportunities, but they aren't able to find it as Rogue Warriors are setting up defensive vision and using these wild and reckless plays to stall the game out. Taking a look at the gold, 3,300 gold advantage for Chelly.
Oh. He has such a good laning phase against the former AD carry of OMG, so that has to feel good. If I'm OMG right now, though, I would really be trying to push my advantage as hard as possible. If you look at the itemization for Mouse, he's still fully MR. No armor to be seen, and my most fed member is Ezreal. So if I push now, even if we get into a team fight, even if Rogue Warriors have that, you know, great initiate that we were talking about, you could still turn the tide, because you just take down Ornn so fast.
If that Ezreal's able to set up for it. Now, Infernal Dragon has spawned. Rogue Warriors think they want to fight. I'm not sure if they actually want to fight. They're trying to set up vision around this. And look at Flawless. He's actually real deep behind the pit. Oh my god, Icon. How did you hit that? Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands. That's the Stand United. And they get a lot of damage onto him. The Flash Auto locks down the kill. Knock up onto another 2. Chelly looking for a way in, as he's taking a lot of damage over the side of the pit. SMLZ is trying to work through the funnel, but Rogue Warriors inside of the Trier being attacked from 2 directions. Mouse on the front, looking for the knockup. They find themselves the kill. SMLZ gets 1. Doinby flashes on the side. Cannon Barrage is ready. Sorry, that's the curtain call. They're able to get some more as Icon finds a kill onto Kilowatt, looking for another, but SMLZ flashes onto his former mid laner's face and finds it. Rogue Warriors win the fight. It's 2 for 1.
And that was so close for either team. I think the key moment where it was that Shen was able to complete the Stand United even when Flawless died. It was a nick of the time. Stand United, Shen came down, then instantly traded favorably onto Jayco, got an extra member with the taunt, and SMLZ was untouched throughout the majority of the fight. That could have gone so badly for Rogue Warriors, but it was just so close, so close.
That's the power of SMLZ. Set him up and allow him to take aim and fire, and he will just barrel down. What a shot from Icon.
So reminiscent of what Scout did to Rookie in their series earlier, but just watch this Stand United. Flawless is on his last legs, and Kahlua still manages to finish, goes straight in and picks up the kill. Unfortunate kill trade for sure, and Chelly unable to find a good angle to deal damage to SMLZ. Look at that positioning. SMLZ is untouched, and he's able to fire just forward.
And even with a 3-man knockup, Doinby and SMLZ just doing so much work. Flash Auto! Did he need to? No. Did he want to? Yes. The gun to the forehead against Icon as he fires that last bullet. Look at that! Infinity Edge next! Ugh! That is gonna hurt!
Yep, getting that extra true damage and the extra AD proc. He's gonna have an easy time dealing with the Cho'Gath.
It should be noted, they did not kill Ezreal, so they do not have that shutdown gold. And, alright. This time, Doinby's learned his lesson. He's not going to wait for it to dissipate fully before trying to step over. Instead, just walks the long way around. But with Baron up, and the Infernal Dragon picked up by Rogue Warriors. They've found themselves a pick. They found 5. That's the Realm Warp as Doinby heads forward in the Rupture. Call of the Forge God will be missed by Mouse, as Curtain Call does just a bit of damage, but 5 dies. And look at all of the ultimates being used by Rogue Warriors.
Rogue Warriors are just so clean. So clean. Look at that timing. It was impeccable. The teleport comes down, people are running away, they anticipate the direction he's going to run in. Flawless locks him down, instantly killed.
Do we still call Rogue Warriors clean after early game?
Okay, so I will say this. Rogue Warriors, in terms of like piling in, getting that team fight, getting the dog pile, I think they're the cleanest team in the LPL.
Okay.
I will not vouch for the rest of the game, though.
Their decision making at certain times a little bit suspect. But again, that's the team playing to the fire. This is so true to their style of trying to get that momentum, playing off of Doinby's shot calling and inner spirit that he provides.
Look at how tanky Doinby currently is.
So Rylai's...
He can play the side lanes at this point. He has enough HP to do it. Zoe can't shut him down 1v1.
I mean, he's already put the fear of his team into any Cho'Gath. If Xiyoung ever finds himself 1v1 against Doinby, he's like, wait a second, last time this happened, they dove 2 turrets. Oh yeah, there's the teleport you were talking about. Hextech ultimatum. Guy never stood a chance.
Yep. Doinby
okay, how does he miss this? Ooh, headbutts the wall.
Unlucky.
Ooh.
Unlucky. So the way that works is that you actually do travel a short distance when you're trying to knock your Call of the Forge God back.
Yes.
And if you're stopped from moving that distance, you actually, end up a little bit short. And that's what happened right there.
Because that wasn't destructible terrain, he didn't power through it. That was just natural terrain.
Yeah.
If that were a Talia wall or an Anivia wall, he would have gone through.
Do you actually go through it with your R? I know you can get through it with the searing.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah. I don't think you get it through with the R.
You're correct. It wasn't the headbutt, it was Call of the Forge God Part 2.
Yep, that does count as a gap closer as well.
Not a very effective one.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because it has a lot of, we see this with Singed a lot. So if Singed casts the Mega Adhesive, you actually can't use the second part of your ult.
Oh, they're looking for a collapse. They found Flawless. Silence ruptured, stand united, and dead. Now, 5 is on the far side, and they are grouped up around the Baron. That is the jungler of Rogue Warriors dead, as they were setting up a bait, but were baited themselves.
Great Skirmish pick right there, and they should be able to take this down. The jungler is down, no smite, and they have a feast.
That's the Call of the Forge God. SMLZ steps up. He hits that one, knock up onto 2. Curtain Call hits Shelly as Xiyoung walks up with the Feral Scream, and SMLZ cannot fire the 4th bullet with that Cho'Gath walking towards his face. They do get disengaged off the Baron, though, by using their ultimates.
I actually felt like OMG could have turned and just went straight onto the Baron. They didn't really need to chase them. It's my perspective. When you see Jhin using his ultimate, he actually does very little damage unless someone has low health. Yeah. His bullet damage actually comes from the execute and not the
missing.
Yeah, percent missing is where most of the damage comes out from. So OMG are just going to walk straight back. They got all the ultimates out from Rogue Warriors. They can do this play again.
Ooh, Doinby narrowly avoiding getting hit by the Sleepy Trouble Ball on this side. SMLZ once again stepping up there, targeting Doinby. He flashes on the far side of the cask. OMG backs against the wall, gets knocked up by 2 as Rogue Warriors are looking for the fight. Flawless is finally getting there, Mouse tanking in the front. SMLZ eats a hit, but Flawless joins in. He's found Xiyoung. Hextech ultimatum goes low. He will die, but Xiyoung is still alive. Icon flashing forward along with Gieko, looking for the kill, but Doinby will lock it down. And it ends up being a 1-for-1. Icon still looking for some more. Blue trinket for SMLZ and Doinby, but doesn't find them.
OMG have such a strong potential to clean up these fights. Nobody can really deal with Zoe and Ezreal when things are settled. When there's no crowd control, these two will just run wild. And in that fight, I just felt like the duel between SMLZ and Icon was so on point. Both of them taking each other so low and forcing each other out of the fight, but neither dying. So we can actually watch that again. There's no ultimates coming in from Rogue Warrior's side. Doinby does decide to go in, gets a great flash out of this, and then goes the duel of SMLZ versus Icon. Icon's pinned in a very bad position, goes into Zhonya's, comes out, and look at the damage he then puts back onto SMLZ. The bubble's taking him so low.
And then he's forced to flash away, and Doinby is able to lock down that final kill at the very end. Next Infernal Dragon has spawned. Once again, we're looking for a fight. These have largely been going 50-50 between the two. Chelly forced to back away from Killua. They've managed to get another onto 5 as the Dragon is picked up, but Doinby is dead. Killua flashes over the wall. Redemption heals it up off of Icon.
It's great anticipation from 5. Knew exactly where Doinby would be. He landed and instantly regretted.
And immediately they look to be heading over towards the Baron. There is no Realm Warp from Doinby to get out of base as he is dead still for another 40 seconds, 33 minutes in. Big paddle start, Flawless trying to get around the side. Curtain call, looking for some damage. Flawless steps up, down to 4,000, but is knocked up in mid-air. He has flash if he wants to try to flash over the side. 2,000, 1,000, flashes in, doesn't get the steal, but leaps over the wall, dies regardless. Now they're looking for SMLZ. He's going to be chased down by Chelly and dies, and OMG finally finding the kills. This could be it. This could be what they need to end the game. A double kill, make that a triple. Mouse gets locked down. Icon will get the kill along with Gyokko as they get the ace, and OMG have the Baron.
It's such a fast turn of events for OMG. They take the fight in the bot lane, instantly transition top. And for Rogue Warriors, I feel like their only real chance was to have Flawless and trying to commit to a steal. They were missing a lot of their key ultimates in that fight. No Realm Warp, like you said, and no Call of the Forge God. So I'm a little bit hesitant to say that Rogue Warriors played that well. I felt like it was a situation where you could only go for the steal, but not much else. And they overcommitted, and OMG punished.
And now they get the chance to punish even more as multiple minion waves crashing in mid and top lane. The inhibitor turret already taken there, not taking the inhib yet. And Doinby still barely holding onto the top one, but that is a stiff breeze from going down. As 35 minutes into the game, OMG with twice as many kills as Rogue Warriors, 7,000 gold up in Baron for 2.5 minutes with a terrifying siege composition. We talked about Rogue Warriors having huge sets to engage, but now, do they want to engage into this OMG setup as 5 with the Zoe Ezreal as strong as they are?
They've just never found a situation where they would counter a siege. Great rupture there coming out from Xion. Stops Flawless from getting into the cage and trying to deal damage. Again, I do feel like this is a bit of an over-engage coming out from Rogue Warriors. It's a try and steal situation. They stay and try to pick up the potential team fight as well, and they just get completely wiped out by Chelly. Remember, he is running Blade of the Ruined King. He can follow up with people, and he's incredibly fed.
Now the siege begins. OMG running onto this bottom lane tier 2 as they are looking to take everything that they can. True Shot Barrage to clear out the last of the minion wave. Doesn't quite hit the next one, so that will be at full health. But the siege is beginning as the first tier 2 has already fallen. 7 turrets to 2. Rogue Warriors are playing with fire, and that fire is OMG setting up. Xiong over the wall. Still pinned into the corner. Decides not to take the charge. That's called the Forge God. Cask, ooh, denies it, but he does get the knock-up onto 2. Chelly and 5, they're stalled out. But immediately OMG follow up off the back of this, and that's Rogue Warriors engage gone, along with that bottom inhibitor.
Really not enough sustained damage coming out from Rogue Warriors to haul the ties right here. SMLZ on that Jhin, even though he does a lot of burst damage to low health targets, it can't really do much on the Cho'Gath. Just scratching his scales right there.
Do you think he has scales, or is it more carapace?
But carapace are kind of like larger scales.
Yeah, segmented. Well, he is bones, so I think that answers both of our questions on the prehistoric Cho'Gath. The siege now begins onto the last inhibitor turret. It was already worked down earlier, and even though it's 20 seconds left on the Baron buff, there's nothing Rogue Warriors can do. They get great damage onto 5, and they destroy him. Flash on the side, Doinby sets up the Realm Warp. Killua doesn't take it, nobody does in fact. The flash forward from Doinby as he gets the snare, but a quick cleanse from Icon gets him back. There goes the curtain call, looking for more damage. 4th bullet finds Xiong in the front. Like you said, that upfront damage not very high. Chelly finds Flawless and forces him back. The inhibitor goes down as OMG withstands the rebuttal from Rogue Warriors. Triple inhibs down for Rogue Warriors.
It's a lot of sweat pouring down my face right now because that was insanely close for Rogue Warriors, and they're going back at it again, trying to hit.
Whoa!
What were they trying to hit? Mouse? Hello?
Minimap, maybe?
This is a bit awkward for Mouse. You know, this happens to everyone.
Second time he's had something like that this game.
It was definitely the wrong direction. You know, the angles could have been calculated a bit better.
I would love to play mouse in billiards. Because I feel like he wouldn't get his angles right.
Probably be hitting on the 9 ball when you're not supposed to.
The 8 ball, yeah. But now Elder Dragon is up in 50 seconds. With double supers coming in from every lane. Rogue Warriors have a very narrow window to get out onto the map and try to push some of these lanes back out before that massive objective spawns. But OMG are using that time to set up around the pit, even using teleport from Shelly to get out there, as he is at 6 items. 6! He's big.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane, and it's pretty rare that we see Shelly have such a good game. So definitely congratulations to this guy having a great laning phase and showing what he can do in those team fights as well. For Rogue Warriors, however, I have to say I'm relatively disappointed, especially in SMLZ, for losing the bottom lane as hard as he did. They're going to have to claw themselves back with one good team fight, and they probably need to take Shelly out first.
Yeah. They'll absolutely need to. They do have a lot of setup if they can dive it correctly and assassinate that Ezreal target.
They do. Flawless goes in, uses the Hextech ultimatum.
Uh-oh.
They do see him.
Oh, yeah, they can see OMG just past that vision over there. That ward peeking over the corner.
Yikes.
That Sleepy Trouble Bubble hits. Doesn't find Killua as he Shadow Dashes back, but Elder Dragon has spawned. It's 80 seconds for the Baron, and the vision is going to be slowly crept forward.
It's a waiting game for OMG. They don't actually need to do anything.
There they go. Now they turn on to the Elder. Double supers pushing in top, pushing in everywhere else, but Rogue Warriors have already backed away. And Elder Dragon picked up. OMG playing it patient, not taking any chances. Now they've got that buff. It's 60 seconds for the Baron, but they're still going to walk it into the base.
OMG are trying to keep their playoffs hopes alive. They have the hardest schedule of the 3 teams still competing for that 4th place spot. But if they take down Rogue Warriors, you know, things are much more rosier ahead.
There they go. The Realm Warp descends that Ornn into the back line. Killua going for the chase. His target is Icon. Shelly tries to sidestep. Call of the Forge God as Mouse will get the knockup onto him this time. They've managed to kill Icon. Shelly is still free firing into the back. Mouse eats a lot of hits, but not enough. 5 with the 3-man body slam finds Doinby, who is so tanky though, the late cleanse. But look at Shelly's damage. He is just doing so much. Killua chases it forward. A double kill for Giaco as 5 finally falls. That's the ace for OMG, and they're going to turn on to the Nexus to take game 1 against Rogue Warriors.
And as SMLZ falls down, we see the emotes, the mannerisms coming out from Shelly, flashing him the Tom Kent, knowing that, hey, if we ban that away, your aggressive playstyle in lane actually doesn't work anymore.
Suddenly, SMLZ sets up OMG to close out game 1, and they happily do it.
5 wins so far for OMG this split. And at this point in time, even though their record doesn't look very good, they still have a chance to vie for that final playoff spot in the Western Conference. Definitely eyeing for it. I mean, this was a bit of a weird game, to be honest. I felt like RW had the much better draft. I felt like they had the answer to what OMG were setting up, but I couldn't take into consideration the triple deaths and the very fast tower falling down on Rogue Warriors' side. Yeah.
And then the questionable setups elsewhere on the map by diving 2 turrets for a Cho'Gath, setting up top for a fight that they had no reason or right to try to fight for, fighting at Dragon when they clearly didn't want to fight at Dragon. We've got to question the decision-making a little bit, though again, commendations to OMG to capitalize on those mistakes.
Yeah, it's just, you know, Jhin, once he gets to that late game, can't really do much to the Cho'Gath, and I just didn't see Rogue Warriors establish any sort of advantage most of the game.
Yeah.
I think their fights were very uncoordinated, and OMG really broke the combo coming out from Rogue Warriors just by picking members off again and again and again. Like, the Jhin dying 3 times in lane, and then Jhin dying in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a bit frustrating to watch, and OMG giving SMLZ a little bit of taste of what it means, a bit of revenge for leading the team.
It's very difficult to read that man because he doesn't show a lot of expression, but in the player cams at the very end, looking a little bit disappointed, perhaps.
This is so greedy from SMLZ. You know, you could just teleport onto the tower, denying that 1 minion isn't really worth it, and then he goes back and dies again. Nobody checks the brushes. They think it's fine because Gragas isn't level 6. Well, guess what? It isn't fine.
Body slam. It doesn't matter. He hits the knockup onto 2, and then nothing that he can do.
Yeah.
Easy snowball to set up from OMG to chase down those kills in the end, though it did get a little bit dicey around the double Infernal for Rogue Warriors. You have to imagine in a different world, if they weren't as aggressive, could Rogue Warriors have had a better chance to get back in because they were taking team fights like this.
Yeah, I honestly felt like this should have been a one fight for OMG, but the Shen coming down really changed the entire direction for that. Even look at the cask, it was so good. It blocked the second proc of the Ornhorn, so there was a lot of good things in this fight for OMG, but at the end of the day, they expended a lot of abilities to get that first kill, and it didn't really pay off because it was immediately traded back with Sandy behind it.
And in the end, though, the final chase down for OMG to run down the kills and open up the map elsewhere, set them up for success. It just, we got to wonder about Rogue Warriors. They every once in a while, it's very infrequent. This is like game one of Rift Rivals that we saw from them, where they came in, we were like, all right, this is one of our top 4 teams. They've got a lot of momentum, these young kids, and then they got absolutely smashed. And then even in the best of 4 games, some of their decision making was a bit questionable during that early game.
You know, at the same time, I actually feel like a lot of their problems are pretty easy to solve. Like, you could pinpoint the moments that you could see Rogue Warriors' like team collapsing, the bot lane deaths, and the great prediction from 5 in front of the Infernal Drake, where he anticipated where Doinby would land in the Realm Warp, knocked him directly back into his team, and that led directly into a Baron play.
Yeah.
And on that Baron play, RW overcommitted. They went back when, you know, it was kind of a situation where you could only realistically hope for a steal. And, you know, they put their necks out there. They tried to get something going in the fight and lost everyone straight afterwards. So it was a very, I mean, this game, there were very certain scenarios in very specific moments where you kind of go, oh, they lost.
Yeah. And that's something that that can be said about Rogue Warriors, as Chelly takes the MVP at 10-0-10. He just got a 20 KDA against Rogue Warriors.
Showing himself to be the worthy replacement for SMLZ. SMLZ was close to getting MVP accolades for his time on OMG, and they've been missing a big carry ever since. Chelly saying that he can fill that role, he can play the lane. SMLZ has the 3rd highest GD in terms of the LPL, so a very good laner himself, but Chelly outplayed him.
When you play like that in lane and you just constantly get ganked and you aggress too many times.
Bring out the Karthus, bring out the Karthus.
Yeah, exactly.
You can still farm her while dead, so.
Set up the redemption off the back of that. Maybe perhaps see Doinby on a little bit more of a carry, because we still saw Doinby trying to play his heart out in the mid lane, sidestepping as best he can, so many abilities, pumping out huge damage in those team fights, but just didn't really have the items to compare with the snowball of OMG at the end.
This is the type of game where you said the coach did his job. That was a good draft.
It was the coach.
And it's a very clear-cut issue. Like, the bot lane just didn't hold up, and they just need to change that. But either it's like SMLZ needs to play a lot more humble, not teleport on top of a minion. This is the 2nd time we've seen him do this. We've actually have highlights of that. We've used it on the analyst test before. Or, you know, just tell Kahlua to do it. You know, tell Kahlua to face check. Have your jungler do that. You know, sometimes if you want to play a very good bot lane, you have to talk.
But Clement, that would make sense. And that would require, as you said, communication between SMLZ and everyone else. And that's again, that's a strength and a weakness for Rogue Warriors, because it is so Doinby focused and Mouse focused about how these two shot call and lead the team in these fights, that they just know what SMLZ is going to do. So in team fights, we get to see them take those crazy fights at Tribush at a disadvantage and win them off the back. But then in that same vein, that does mean that SMLZ will be quiet, that they do have to play around a silent AD carry.
Just sad that I don't have a team to root for out of any of the Rift Rivals teams remaining.
Yeah,
It feels so weird.
We'll give it a few more weeks. We'll wait until week 10 before we make the final verdict. That said, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break while we get ready for that game 2. Don't go anywhere. The LPL will be right on back.
不去躲避那些责任和难题 ，OMG 的救赎由我们亲手完成。